Daytime with Aston Avery on Gateway 97.8.
But right now, it's Daytime with Aston Avery. Now, there's a book out there called Emergence of an Unexpected Leader, which chronicles a transformative 25-year journey of growth, resilience and self-discovery, which is charting my guest's evolution from a struggling student to an impactful leader in continuous improvement and organisational development. And the narrative weaves together personal anecdotes and professional milestones, illustrating how early challenges, including childhood bullying, mental health struggles and academic setbacks, shaped my guest's passion for leadership innovation, resulting in the bridge of inspirational leadership. And joining me right now to discuss this in further detail is my guest, podcaster and author Matt Sims, who joins me as my guest in this part of Daytime. So Matt, welcome to Gateway.
Good morning, Aston. Great to be here, mate.
Great to have you on, Matt. So this book, obviously, you had it published back in October of 2024, of course, there, called The Emergence of an Unexpected Leader. What got you into writing this book here?
Do you know what? It came about because frequently I've told bits of my story to people in organisational settings over the years, and people often said to me, Matt, your story is really fascinating. You should tell more of it. So I finally bit the bullet and started downloading my brain into a book, which is actually a really, really good experience to sort of get it all out and get it flowing again.
And of course there, when you look at the book there, it's obviously broken down into chapters from early years all the way up to where you are now, of course, here.
Yes, it transcribes the entire 25 years. And it's a real journey. And I think looking back and reflecting on it, I can see how far I've come. Even though at the times there were some really, really difficult times in there, mental health struggles, anxiety-ridden days where I thought there was no hope. And looking back at that journey and seeing just how far I've come since then has been a really wonderful thing to see. And I think it will inspire other people as well.
And of course, with the actual book as well here, Matt, as well, was it time in preparation of actually trying to write the book as well? Did you have to write it during lockdown or even before lockdown here? How did the idea come about in the first place?
I think if anyone wants to write a book, lockdown is a really good opportunity to do it. So I found that it's a sort of a combination of 2 years worth of note scribing. And then when I sat down to turn it into a book, the real challenge was turning my scribbles into a flowing narrative, which was a real challenge. But pulling it all together, making it all make sense was part of the fun, really. It was sort of revisiting those times of my life.
And when you found out that you've completed the book here, you probably had to look back on your past journey, of course, there to where you are now to actually get the idea of where you've actually came from as well in the background there, Matt, from, as I said, from childhood all the way up to now. But the actual book itself here, obviously, it's available on stores and all that, but how did, obviously, when you found the book was completed and published there, you must have been over the moon.
Yeah, I was. It was a real relief, but it was also a really scary moment. I think when you release something that's so raw and so personal and so full of emotion, there's always that apprehension of how it'll be received and how people are going to react and think about what you're saying. So that initial couple of months when I first put it out there just before Christmas was a very nerve-wracking time. But I've been overwhelmed by the response, actually. It's been really positive and people have really enjoyed reading the book. And it's got a maximum 5-star rating as well, which is just mind-blowing.
And it is absolute mind-blowing as well, because obviously looking at some of the comments there that you've had as well is obviously brilliant to see that you've had comments, especially for when it got published, like at the beginning of October there, all the way up to where you are now on that, to the actual comments here.
Yeah, I can't believe it. People I've never even met are sitting there writing comments about my journey, which is just, like you say, it's mind-blowing. It's astonishing, really.
An absolute astonishing. And also what it's seen as well is obviously I've seen this gap here that you got on this thing I've got in front of me here. It shows you about continuous improvement, etc. here, and obviously building obstacles to become who you are today here.
Yeah, absolutely. Continuous improvement was sort of the catalyst in my life that really transformed my thinking and my view on education and achievement. And I've managed to build a career out of continuous improvement, lean and Six Sigma and operational excellence. And one of the main lessons that I learned during that period is that where people thrive, performance really does follow. And the bridge of inspirational leadership, which the book goes into, which is my framework for delivering high performance, is really built around people, helping them thrive. And then the performance comes naturally off the back of that.
And one big aspect as well that came about as well during the time as well, Matt, in your career is obviously the podcast which you do called Ever So Lean podcast on that as well, which you do every so often, speaking to like individuals or even like inspirational people as well at the same time, especially at the BQF Awards that are coming up in March.
Yes, it's such a fun thing to do as well, chatting to some amazing people that are doing amazing things, learning from them and sort of cataloguing those episodes is a really, really great experience. And the BQF have been a huge sponsor of the podcast since it started in 2022. And the upcoming awards at Wembley Stadium in the end of March it's just a magical event, and the opportunity to go there and capture the event on the podcast kind of creates this lasting memory that really captures the atmosphere and the buzz and just the feel of the evening like it did last time. It's just a great experience.
And of course these award ceremonies, the BQF award ceremonies, it's all about meeting and reaching out to new people, especially people you ain't seen before, for example.
It is, and it's also quite sort of humbling in some ways as well, because you meet these people that are doing just incredible things in the world. You're a great example of that yourself, Aston. The stuff that you do is it's just meeting people like that and learning from the way they are and the way they don't put themselves first. They put everybody else first. It's just a great experience, and it's a really lovely, heartwarming event, and I can't wait.
And especially this year, Matt, as well, it's probably a big one for you because not only are you normally there for podcasting, you're actually there as a nominee on this occasion as well.
I know. How'd that happen, hey? That's just scary. I'm a finalist in people engagement and development, excellence in people engagement and development. So, yeah, there is a sort of another dimension to being there this year. It's just to be a finalist is an amazing experience, and the people that I'm up against in that award are equally doing some amazing things in that space. But yeah, it is definitely exciting to think that I might actually walk away with a nice trophy at the end of it as well.
At the end of the day, being a nominee is probably the best thing because you're a winner regardless of what happens on the actual night itself that takes place at the BQF Awards at the end of March there. Yeah,
you're completely right. Being a finalist and being ranked among the top 4, 5, 6 people or organisations in that category in the UK is a very special thing to be, and yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
And obviously, as I said about the podcast as well, you've had so many episodes and you've done so many series on that as well with this podcast, Ever So Lean podcast there.
Yeah, 50 episodes we're nearly at now over the last couple of years. It's been a lot of work, but a passion and a joy to do. Lots more exciting episodes to come. So if any businesses out there or organisations want to share their story of excellence, I would love to get in contact with you and get you on the show to talk about that and share your brand with everybody else as well.
I would have to say to listeners on that as well that want to get in touch about the podcast there, Matt, as well, is obviously be careful with the yes-no game that you do.
Yeah, that's the scary part. People listen just for the yes-no game. What that is at the end of every show, to make our guests human, I play the yes-no game where I play some really scary music in the background, and I have to try and catch them out to say yes or no within 60 seconds, and it's great fun. You've played that yourself, haven't you, Aston?
I have, and I passed the challenge.
You did very well. I remember it well.
Trying to put me on the spot because you gave me all the categories there, because what you do is normally you give categories, but you make the categories accessible to what you was discussing in the podcast, if I'm right in saying.
Exactly, yeah. People get to choose between card number 1, 2 and 3, and it gives them a different category to talk about. The thing is, people get comfortable. They get comfortable with what they're saying, so you can very quickly catch them out.
And if they choose one that's not comfortable in them, that would catch them out big time, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that being said, Matt, as well, for listeners, do you have any advice to listeners about if they're going through like mental health battles and also at the same time also want to write a book as themselves here?
Yeah, I mean, those that are going through mental health issues, I think that the key to remember is that you have good days and you have bad days. And if you're having a bad day, tomorrow will be a better day, and it can get better. This doesn't define you. It doesn't set out who you are for the rest of your life. It's just a thing that you're going through at that time. It's something that you can deal with. There is help available everywhere. And I think the book itself, the Emergence of an Unexpected Leader, does tell the story of how someone who was riddled with anxiety and couldn't leave the house has turned into somebody that's now standing in front of thousands of people talking about anxiety. So it can be done.
So, Matt, if our listeners want to find out all information about your book, Emergence of an Unexpected Leader, and also want to join you on an episode of your podcast as well, is there anywhere our listeners can find out all information about the book and also find out more about how they can get in touch and be a guest on your podcast as well?
Yeah, they sure can. So the book's available on Amazon. So just look for The Emergence of an Unexpected Leader. And to learn more about the book, me and my journey and things like that, head over to eversolean.com and you'll find all the information that you need.
So, Matt Sims, podcaster, author, thank you for joining me on Gateway 97.8 today to discuss about your book, Emergence of an Unexpected Leader, and also discuss about your journey into podcasting as well.
Thank you, Aston. Absolute pleasure.
Podcaster and author there, Matt Sims, discussing about his book, The Emergence of an Unexpected Leader, and also previewing the BQF Awards that are taking place at the end of March. Well, on the way shortly, I do have Gold Hit from 1960s from Units 4+2.
Daytime with Aston Avery on Gateway 97.8.